the class. First thing you need to do is you need to go to aplusstudents.com. You need to go to the website. Then you need to select math as your subject. This is a grade 10 lesson. And the topic for today is Algebra Review. We would be reviewing our concepts. The chapter number is 1 and the lesson number is 6. Okay. And the name of the chapter is Solve Linear Equations. So when we are solving linear equations, the linear means the exponent of the variables is always 1. Okay. So let's go to the topic and let's see the first question. Okay. So the first question says, okay, if this is our first question, we need to solve and find the value of q such that this is given to us. Okay. What we can do is, in order to evaluate, in order to solve the question, we need to find the value of q. Can we add 6 on either sides? Because this was a negative 6, right? And this 6 cancels out, positives, negative 6. So we can say 2q is 10 plus 6 is 16. Can we divide both the sides by a 2? Whenever we need to cross multiply, we are dividing. So what we do is 2 times 1, 2 times 1. And the value of q comes out to be 16 upon 2. That is 8. Okay. For the same question, let's see if there was one of the values that was different for us. Okay. If this value of 6 was a negative 6. Okay. Let's see. Just a moment, please. Okay. If this value of 6 had a negative next to it. So what we can do is we can also put this in a bracket because the value of 6 was a negative, right? So in order to move this, okay, we know the rules, right? For multiplication over here, whenever a number that is being multiplied, I'll write down some rules. Same signs, okay? Whenever a positive number is multiplied by a positive number, the answer stays positive. Whenever a negative number is multiplied by a negative number, the answer becomes positive. It's still positive, right? Because the same signs would result in a positive. Same signs, negative, negative. This is for multiplication only. Because once we see a bracket, that means we are multiplying as well. This is the rule for the same signs. Let's look at the rule for different signs. If the signs are different in multiplication, a positive number when multiplied with a negative number would always be negative, or a negative number multiplied by a positive number would also be still negative. Okay, so a positive number, when the signs are different and there's a multiplication, the answer is always negative. These are the rules for multiplication. Okay, so what we can say over here is, can I say this thing is written as 2q with a, if this was negative, negative 1 is multiplied by negative 6 is equals to 10. And we know the rule for multiplication that whenever two numbers are being multiplied and they have a negative sign, they form a positive. So can we write this as 2q plus 6 would be equals to 10. And if we need to move 6 to the other side, we subtract 6 on either sides. When we subtract 6, so we are left with 2q is equals to 4. In order to simplify, we divide both the sides by a 2. 2 times 1, 2 times 1. And the final answer is when 4 is divided by 2, we are left with a 2. Okay. So just by a difference of one sign, if the 6 in question 1 was a positive, right? Sorry, negative 6. And in this case, if this was a positive 6, question number 2, it was a positive 6, the answers would change because one of the signs is different, okay? Let's have a look at another question. In this question, what they're doing is they're trying to give us a fractional value, okay? A fraction is given as a part of the question. So for question number 3, it says solve for D, find the value of D such that this is the question given to us. Let me just simply put the questions, alternate questions in a box so that we can differentiate between them. This was our question number 2 and this is our question number 3. So what they are saying is D plus 3 is divided by 4 is equals to 3 on the other side. That means it's if we multiply both the sides by a 4, if we multiply both the sides by a 4, we can remove the 4 from the denominator. This 4 and 4 can be cancelled out. That means D plus 3 would be equals to 12. In order to remove from the denominator, we multiply with the same denominator into the numerator on either sides. Let's try removing this 3. When we need to remove this 3 from the left side to the right side, it was plus 3. Therefore, we subtract 3 on either sides. Plus 3 and minus 3 is cancelled out. And the value of D comes out to be 12 minus 3. That is a 9. Okay. So this is simple algebra where we are trying to find the values. Okay. I'll just put the rules also in a box so that we can differentiate between the rules. Okay. These are the rules for multiplication with same sign and different signs. Moving ahead with the questions. If we would say, if a fraction was given to us, okay, let's see how this question can be done. Question number 4. Okay. And I will just change one sign for this. Let this be 4 over here with this negative 6. This is our question number 4. Okay. So what we can see is that r upon negative 3 plus 4 and minus 6. We cannot cross multiply until and unless we have a single denominator. But over here we can see that this is 4 upon 1. It's not a single denominator on the left hand side. For which what we can do is we can subtract a 4 on either sides. Agreed? And we can shift the 4 to the other side. That means plus 4 and negative 4 is cancelled out. R is divided by a negative 3. And what is negative and negative? When a negative number is added to a negative number, the result is positive, right? This is the rule that we know. When the negative number is added to a negative number, the result would always be positive. That means we add the numbers together, but we keep the sign of the larger number. The sign of the larger number was negative. So this becomes negative 10. Now we have the negative 3 on the denominator on the left hand side. So if we multiply this side with the same number and we multiply this side with the same number, so can we say this is written as minus 3 multiplied by r upon minus 3 is equals to, when the numbers are negative and they're multiplied together, if they have the same sign, negative and negative, the result would always be positive. And what we can do is minus 3 is cancelled out with -3, and R comes out to be 30 as your final answer. Agreed? So let's say if we had a small change in the question, we make a small change in the question and we try to see what will happen. If the given question was this, I'll just show you the changes. For question number 5, if I say this is written as, this is written as -4 within a bracket, this was a -6, and this was a -3. Okay, what we did was we just changed one variable from positive to negative. Okay, we know the rule that whenever a positive number is multiplied with a negative number, +1 is multiplied by -4, right? So whenever the signs are different, we know the rule over here. Whenever we have different signs, the signs are different, then the answer would always be negative, right? So can we say this is R upon -3? This becomes -4, which should be equals to -6. Can we move -4 to the other side? By, if this was -4, if we add 4 on either sides, that means the overall factor 0. So we can say R divided by -3 is, when we are adding numbers which are opposite in sign, one number had a negative sign, the other number had a positive sign. That means 6 minus 4 would be 2, and we always carry the sign of the larger number. So now we have R upon -3 is equals to -2, right? So what we want is, we want to remove the -3 from the denominator. So if we either we can cross multiply, and the rule for cross multiplying is we multiply both the sides with the same denominator. So this -3 and -3 is cancelled out, and we are left with -2 multiplied by -3. And we know the rule for the same signs. I'll just copy the rule over here. And the rule for the numericals with the same sign was, whenever the variable, the numbers have the same sign and they are being multiplied, the result becomes positive. And 3 multiplied by 2 would be 6. That is your final answer. Just the change with a 1, just by changing sign of one variable. This was +4 over here. We made it negative. With a sign, with a change in one sign, we can have a totally different answer. Okay. Let's have a look at another example. Okay. Sorry. Let's see, for the next question, it says solve for the variable d such that the given question is, the question number 6 states that this information. Okay, this is our question number 6, and this was -2, and that was -3. So what we can see is, there is a single fraction on the left hand side, and there is a single fraction on the right hand side, right? There's just one fraction on the left side and one value on the right hand side. That means -3 can be written upon as -3 upon 1. So what we do is, we want to remove the denominator in order to find the value of d. So what we do is, we multiply each side by the denominator. -2 and -2 is cancelled out, because dividing and multiplying by the same number would result in the removal of that number. And we know the rule, when the signs are same, negative and negative, it becomes positive. And 3 multiplied by 2 would be 6. So the question says d plus 4 is equals to 6. We need to remove this 4. So we subtract 4 on either sides. These are cancelled out. That means the answer for D. 6 and 4 have an opposite sign. That means they will be subtracted. 6 minus 4 is 2. And you keep the sign of the bigger, larger value. And you don't have to write plus 2. You can leave it as 2 as well. Agreed? So today we are just doing a revision of the questions of the concept that you already know. Okay, algebra is just a review topic. Moving ahead to the next question. Okay, let's see what the next question would give us. Okay, let's try to make the question a little different. Let's do question number 7, and then we'll try to make some changes to it. Okay, paste. If this was given as a question number 7, and we've been asked to find the value of b in this question. So what we can say is, since there was a 3 over here, can we multiply both the sides by a 3 to remove the 3 from the denominator? 3 is cancelled out with 3, and we are left with b plus 2 is equals to 12. We subtract 2 from either sides, and we can say plus 12 minus 2 would be positive 10. Agreed? Let's try to change something in this same question. If I would try to take the variable in the denominator, b plus 2 and 3. If I say we change the positions, if 3 goes in the numerator and b plus 2 comes in the denominator, if we have swapped the question, okay, for question number 8. So what we can say over here is, whenever we need to do this, what we can do is we can we can multiply or divide by the same number, right? I'll show you another way of doing this. So what we can say is we multiply both the sides by b plus 2. Agreed? So can we cancel this b plus 2 with this b plus 2? And we are finally left with 3 is equals to 4 multiplied by b plus 2. Agreed? We know the expansion, the number outside the bracket is multiplied with everything inside the bracket. So we can write this as 3. 4 is multiplied by b. Bracket means multiplication. Then 4 is multiplied by 2. Agreed? So can we say 4 multiplied by b is 4b, and 4 multiplied by 2 was 8. Can we move 8 to the other side? Since 8 is positive over here, we subtract 8 on either sides. 8 is removed. What is plus 3 minus 8? If we have one number as positive and one number as negative, so that means we subtract 8 minus 3 would be 5. We keep the sign of the larger number is equals to 4b. And can we divide by 4 on either sides just to remove the 4? So can we say the value of b comes out to be minus 5 over 4? Agreed? So this is how we can do question number, okay? Okay, moving ahead to the alternate. I said I'll give you an alternate way to do this, okay? So the alternate way means this is basically written as 3 upon b plus 2 is divided by 4 upon 1, right? What we can do is, if we have single fractions on either sides, what we can do is we can flip the fractions. If we are flipping this fraction, then we flip this fraction as well. So this becomes b plus 2 over 3 would be equals to 1 over 4. Okay, just an alternate, right? So can we say, can we take 3 to the other side? We multiply both the sides by a 3. So can we cancel out this? And can we say this becomes b plus 2 would be equals to 3 upon 4. This was a positive 2. We subtract 2 on either sides. So can we say b would be equals to 3 upon 4 minus 2. We can find the least common divisor. That comes out to be 4 times 1 times 1 times 4 times 4. 3 minus 2 times 4 is 8. That is b. 3 minus 8 is 5, the sign of the larger number, and we still get the same answer. So this was the alternate method, right? We can swap, you can do the question as you want to do, right? There are multiple ways of doing the question. You don't have to follow my steps. There could be another way to do this, but I'm just showing you few ways how to solve a linear equation, right? They would still, any way you will solve, you'll still have the same answer. The answer would never change, okay? Because we are following the rules for algebra. Moving ahead, any questions up till now? Do we have any questions? If there is a question, do let me know. Okay, thank you. Let's move ahead. Question number 9 says, the question number 9 says this: solve for m. We need to find the value of m such that this is given to us. This is our question number 9. What we can do is we can complicate our lives. We can take the LCM first, least common divisor, then we can simplify. Okay, let me just copy this. We'll see both the ways. We'll see how it can be done. If I do it in this manner such that I write this as 7 upon 1, there can be an easier way, right? I'm not saying what I'm doing right now is the easiest. There is an easier way. So we would prefer the easier way. We are just trying to compare. So the least common divisor was 2. That means this is multiplied by 1, multiplied by 1, multiplied by 2, multiplied by 2. M multiplied by 1 is 1m. 7 multiplied by 2 was 14. So since we have a 2 on either sides, we can multiply by 2. This 2 is cancelled out. So we can write m plus 14 is equals to 22. We can subtract a 14 on either sides. So we can say m would come out to be 8, right? So that means m comes out to be positive 8, right? Let's see at an alternate way to do this question. What we did was, in the first type, we took a least common divisor and simplified. The alternate could be plus 7 on either sides. A negative 7 on either side because it was a plus 7. So we can say m upon 2 plus 11 minus 7 would be positive 4. We need to remove this 2. That means we multiply both the sides by a 2. And the answer for m comes out to be 8. So this was our alternate method to solve the same question, right? So it's your choice to use whichever method you find easier, right? More convenient, because they will also always have the same results. Okay. So that would be your assessment. And you cannot assess which way to do the question unless and until you practice a lot of questions. Okay. I said, okay. Any questions up till now? Okay, let's see. If there are any questions, please let me know. For the next question, let's say it says solve for W, and the question given was, I'm just copying the question. Just a moment, please. If this was given to us, okay, and let this be our question number 10. Can we take an LCM first? Can we say 1 was divided by 1? So can we say 2 is equals to, since this was 2 and this was 1, the least common divisor is 2. That means this is multiplied by 1, multiplied by 1, multiplied by 2, multiplied by 2. W times 1 is W, negative sign. 1 multiplied by 2 was 2. So this is the final answer. So now after this step, we need to remove this 2. Can we multiply both the sides by a 2? Cancels out. 2 multiplied by 2 would be 4 is equals to W minus 2. We need to remove the negatives from this side. We add 2 on either sides. So we can say that finally our answer comes out to be W is equals to 6. Okay. Or what we can say is, if this was the question given to us, we directly say this was a negative 1. We add 1 on either sides. This becomes 3 is equals to W divided by 2. And once we have a 2 in the denominator, we want to remove the 2. And we can simply say that W comes out to be 6. So this was an OR. This is our choice of which method we wish to use. M is a variable. Okay. Between the numbers, see the numbers were given over there. Okay. I'll explain this, okay, with the new question, because I've already done those questions. With the next question, I will explain. Your question. Okay. The next question is kind of easy, but it will answer our question. You were asking me what is M over there, right? So for the next question, that is question number 11. Let me just do this, then I'll explain. In this particular question, they have written H in place of M, right? So if this was question number 11, what happens is, in this case, in equations, in alphabet, it's always a variable. It's called a variable. While we know that 4 and 10 are numbers, right? So what we are trying to do is we are trying to find the value for H, right? Simplifying and finding the variable. In the last question, question number 10, they used a W. In question number 9, they used an M. In question number 11, they're using a different variable that is an H. So we need to find the value of the unknown. Variable is the unknown. We need to find the value for the variable. So we can see that H plus 4 was equals to 10. So can we subtract a 4 on either sides? Then this plus 4 and minus 4 is cancelled. Can we say the variable, the unknown value would be equals to 10 minus 4 is 6. So the variable H in this case represents the value that we need to find. It is the value of the variable, the value of the unknown. Okay? Do we agree now? Do we agree on this? Okay. We have another question that has a different variable. Whenever I say the variable Whenever I'm using the word variable, it means an alphabet. Okay, any alphabet can be given in the question as per the examiner's choice. In question number 12, the variable given to us is j, right? And they're asking us solve for j. That means find the value of j. This statement means find the value of j in this question, okay? So what we can say is, if, okay, preferable is we can take the 10 to the other side, right? We can subtract 10 on either side, 10 goes to the other side. So what we can do is we subtract a 10 on the either sides because we want to separate this value of j. Plus 10 and minus 10 would be 0. So what we are left with? Minus 2j. And what should be the answer for this? Plus 2 and minus 10. 10 is a bigger number, right? 10 minus 2 is 8. And the sign of the bigger number is always carried. That becomes negative 8, right? So now what we want to do is we want to remove the number next to the variable. The number written next to the variable was negative 2. We want to remove the negative 2. So can we divide both sides by negative 2? So if I write negative 2j was equals to negative 8, if I divide both the sides by the same number, can I say these are cancelled out? Because minus 2 divided by minus 2 would be 1. So can we say j is equals to minus 8 is divided by minus 4? Whenever we have the same negative signs, we cancel them out. And we know that 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we found the value of the variable. In question number 12, the variable was j. In question number 11, the variable was h. And question number 10, it was a w. They can use a different variable for each different question. Okay? It doesn't have to be a w, x, y, z every single time. Different variables can also be used. Okay? Let's move on to the next. So the next question says, okay, solve for the value of c. It says the variable c is given such in a way that this is the given question and this is the value that's given. Question number 13. They're asking us to find the value of c, and c in this case is the variable that is unknown to us. So this was written as c upon 3 is equals to 2. What we can say is we have a single fraction on this side and a single number on this side. That means we can simplify. And what we can do is we can multiply both the sides by a 3. To remove the denominator, this was 3. So can we cancel this out? 3 times 1, 3 times 1 is cancelled. And c is left as 2 multiplied by 3. And we know that 2 multiplied by 3 was 6. And that is your final answer. Agreed? Let's try to make these questions a little difficult. Okay, I'll try to pick up some different questions. No, there would still be, no, we need to do linear for now. It says linear equations. We cannot have the power of the exponent or the power of the variable to be any other number than 1. We cannot have it as 2. Okay, let's try question number 14. Question number 14 says z upon plus 15 is equals to 11. This is our question number 14. Okay, let's see how it's done. What we can do here is, can we take 15 to the other side? because 15 is not part of the fraction. So if we need to take 15 to the other side, this was plus 15, we simply subtract 15 on either sides. If we subtract them, plus 15 and minus 15 becomes a 0. So we can write this question as z upon 3 would be equals to, what should be the answer for this? Minus 15 plus 11. Which number is greater? 15 is greater, right? So 15 minus 11 is 4. Agreed? And the sign of the greater number is always carried down. Now what we can see is the question says z upon 3 is equals to negative 4. That means we need to find the value of the variable z in this question. If it's being z is divided by 3, can we remove this 3 by multiplying both the sides by 3? That means 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 1 is 3. So what are we left with? We are left with z on this side. What is 4 multiplied by 3? That is 12. And the sign comes as negative because one of them was negative and one was positive. And we know the rule for multiplication. When two numbers are being multiplied together and they have the opposite signs, the answer would always be negative. Agreed? Okay, let's try a few more. Let's see what else we can do. Then we'll try some questions from the test as well. Okay. This is a difficult question. Let's try this. This is our question number 15. And I will do one more, that is question number 16. Then after that, I'll do the test. This is our question number 15. So the question number 15 says c upon 2 minus 10, is equals to 14. So we know that since the variable c is divided by 2 and we have a minus 10, that is not part of a fraction. So can we add plus 10 on either sides to remove this 10? That means minus 10 and plus 10 would become 0 and we are left with c upon 2. When both the numbers have the same sign, they are added. 14 plus 10 is 24. Agreed? We need to remove this 2 from the denominator. C is being divided by 2. That means in order to remove this, can we multiply both the sides by a 2? And this cancels out. So we can say C is equal to 24 multiplied by 2 is 48. Okay. So we can say the answer for C in this given question was 48. Let's try another question. Very similar, but very different with a change in one sign only. Okay. If I change this sign over here and I put a bracket and I say this was negative over here. Change in one sign only, right? In question number 15, this was purely a negative sign. This is still negative, but the number next to it is minus 10. And we know the rule for multiplication of negative numbers. If minus 1 is multiplied by minus 10, they both have the same sign, it will become positive 10. So this number over here can be replaced by a positive 10. That means C upon 2 plus 10 would be equals to 14. Okay, this is the rule for that question. Now we have a positive 10. We need to remove this 10 and we need to take the 10 to the other side. So can we subtract 10 on by both the sides? So once we are subtracting 10, plus 10 minus 10 becomes a 0. So we are left with C upon 2
14 plus 14 minus 10 means, what is 14 minus 10? That we are left with a 4 with a positive sign. Now we can see we have a 2 in the denominator. C, the variable C is divided by 2. So if we need to remove the 2, it's dividing by 2. Can we multiply 2 on both the sides? So once we have multiplied both the sides by 2, 2 multiplied by 1, and 2 times 1 and 2 times 1, 2 is removed. And we can say 4 times 2 is 8 is the final answer. If only we change one sign in the question changed completely, okay? So let's try some questions from the test and let's see what we understood. If there are any problems in the test questions, I'll explain them, okay? Don't worry about it. So we have maths, grade 10, algebra, and chapter number 5, I think. No, chapter number 6. Okay, just a moment, please. So if I would go to first question from the test, the first question from the test says solve for C, and two values for C are given to us. Okay, let's say if this was given to us, and the question is given like this. The question says, find the value of C. This is our question number 1 from the test. You can do the questions later. I'll do some of the questions right now. The remaining you can practice later. So what should be the answer for C? We can say that C was divided by 3 is equals to 2, right? Yes, thank you. That's a correct answer. Why? Because we know that C upon 3 was equals to 2. We multiply by 3 on either sides, right? And C came out to be 6. Thank you. So if we click on 6, that's perfect. So if we look at the next question says solve for G. We need to find the value of G such that, okay, help me out with this. These are the two values of G. We need to find the answer, and this is the statement given to us. This is our question number 2. So what should be the answer for question number 2? Can you help me out with the answer? We know that 13 is equals to G plus 2, right? So we need to remove the 2 from the right side. We need to take it to the left side. Meanwhile, I'll copy the next question. Can you give me the answer? Yes, 11 is the correct answer. Why? Because we subtract 2 on either sides. That means 11 is equals to G. Thank you. What about question number 3? See, we can see 4 is in the denominator and 3 is alone on the other side. So we can multiply by 4 on either sides. Right? So we can say if this was 4, we had to remove. Yes, the answer is 9. Thank you. So we can say D plus 3, 3 times 4 is 12. And we know that we minus 3 on either sides. That means 12 minus 3 was 9. Thank you for the answer. Okay. So what we need to see is how the things can be simplified. If we have a number in the denominator, we take we multiply both the sides with the same. If we have a positive number, like question number 2, we had a positive number plus 2, we subtract negative 2 from both the sides. If this would be a negative number, then we subtract positive numbers, right? So we just try to do the reverse. If it's positive, we do subtraction, that is the reverse. If it's multiplication, if question number 3, it was divided by 4, we multiply by 4, right? So please try the remaining questions, give them a try, complete the test. Okay, do as many questions as you can. They're just simple 9 questions so that you may have more practice. Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.